Hello and welcome. My name is Rachel Coletta. I am a professional psychic intuitive and energy healer. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And also, thank you so much for all of your patience while I've been on a little bit of a hiatus with making videos. Like everyone else, 2020 has brought a lot of energies up for me to flow with. So, thank you for your patience while I calibrated back to creating. And speaking of the energies of 2020, now is a time where we can all use more support than ever, support from each other and support from our spirit team, from our multidimensional soul. If you would like some support in connecting with your spirit team and connecting with your multidimensional soul, I have a free workshop on my website, rachelcoletta.com, which I will also link below, where you can request your very own copy of my Spirit Guides workshop. It includes a guided meditation to assist you in connecting with your guides and making sure that you're fully tapped in to that well of support that is available to you. Today's video is all about the collective initiation that we are currently navigating. It's our individual initiation, and it is also the collective initiation. And that is an initiation of the heart. And this video is the next video in my series on the light and the dark. So if you have not already watched the first 3 videos in this series, please watch those now, as the information that I'm going to be sharing today and in future videos is going to continue to build off those earlier offerings. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started here. First, I want to set the stage. I want to level set. Obviously, clearly, no one chakra or portal to the divine, which is really how I see chakras, as portals to different threads of energy of the divine, is in and of itself more important than another. The health of all energy centers is important in a fully healthy energetic system. But when we're navigating an initiation that resonates with the clearing and expanding of a particular energy center, suddenly that energy center comes front and center. It becomes the focal point. So why the heart? Why is this our initiation right now? Because at its core, our collective initiation, that of moving through, of activating the heart, is asking us to dissolve polarity, to hold loving space, neutral space, for the full spectrum of energies that are surfacing, to release the impulse to push against something, to make one side a hero and one side a villain, to observe what is being reflected back to us and to use these reflections to guide us to offer more love and more inclusion to the polarities within. Neutrality is not ambivalence or avoidance. I want to make this really clear. When I talk about holding neutral space, I'm not talking about a space of inaction or of avoidance or of ambivalence. In fact, neutrality requires the conscious dismantling of deep, deep social conditioning. It is a very, very courageous and present and conscious process. Individually and collectively, we are on an epic healing journey. In fact, this healing journey is continuing to crescendo and heighten. And the set point of all healing is the energy of the heart, of love, of a perspective of inclusion beyond duality. Because the heart is the midpoint. It's the fulcrum, the great balancer, the 0 point, the point of stillness. So if we're talking about our in-body chakra system, the 7 in-body chakras, we see the heart as the 4th chakra. We have 3 chakras above and 3 chakras below. It is quite literally the midpoint. And you can think of the torus. We've got a torus that surrounds, that's the energy flow that surrounds all living things, the earth, our bodies. You can see the energy around the earth, how it moves from a north pole down to a south pole and then back out and around and in again. And that center point, that middle point, the heart, the 0 point, is the place where one polarity comes in and flips or inverts in and then drops down to the next polarity and then back out and around again. So you can see how that heart, it's the 0 point, the midpoint, that place of stillness, that space between the polarities, the space of neutrality. And some traditions actually see the heart as the first chakra, which I think is interesting as well. The heart is also the great purifier, the channeler of divine love. It is the inner well of true peace. So when we become polarized, a pole, we move away from balance. We move away from peace. One side becomes more weighted. When we become polarized, peace is dependent on whether or not your side prevails, whether or not what you most closely identify with, either internally, something about yourself, or externally, something about the other, is affirmed or is victorious. But the open heart births equanimity beyond duality, which is the key portal of initiation in this reality, right? The third dimensional reality is a reality where polarization has been law, has been the rule, where aspects of a larger whole have been split and spliced out to be experienced from one unique perspective. So bringing those polarities back together is part of our process of moving into lighter and lighter frequencies. This midpoint of the heart is literally the place where the physical and the spiritual meet. So in our chakra, in our in-body 7 chakra system, we can think about how we have the upper 3 more etheric chakras, more universal chakras, and then how we have the lower 3 more physical, more base chakras. And the heart literally joins them and brings them together. The heart is the place from which spirit births the physical, and the physical remembers that it is spirit. And what humanity is facing right now is a crisis of spirit. You've probably heard the term spiritual warfare before, but this is an important distinction. We're not at war with evil. We're not at war with each other, but rather we're at war with ourselves. And this is why we're seeing it reflected outward, externally. So remembering this connection, truly on a soul level, knowing this connection of the physical and the spirit, releasing that war, that friction, those polarities within ourselves, requires navigating an unprecedented initiation and activation of the heart. And right now, this is something that I think is also really interesting. Humanity is experiencing a collective desire for truth more powerfully than ever before. So when I feel into this, what it truly feels like is this deep craving, like a gnawing craving that the collective has for truth. As more and more is being revealed, we're becoming more and more aware of what might be hiding in shadows, or how much has been hidden in shadows. And this collective desire for truth is having a huge impact on the direction of consciousness. And the heart is the center. The heart is the gauge of discernment. It's literally the ace in the hole when it comes to knowing truth from deception. Asking ourselves, is it harmonious with the heart? And I have a video all about discernment and using the heart for discernment that I will link below if you'd like more information about that. It specifically refers to discernment and connecting with spirit guides and with non-physical beings, but really the same tactics, the same approach, the same method applies with any discernment. So the heart is the portal to an understanding, or what we might call an inner standing, that bypasses the brain. Truth means that there are no secrets. When we know truth, there are no secrets. Nothing is being hidden, which means that truth equals totality, a seeing of totality. So yin and yang, each polarity and the interconnection between them. So it's not just one or the other, it's one or the other and the connection between them, and how they are related, interconnected, and play off of each other. So in order to receive deeper truth, we also must open our hearts. We must be ready to hold whatever truths are revealed with the spacious, cleansing energy of the heart. And this is a bit of a stopgap that we created for ourselves when we incarnated. We set it so that truth would be revealed to us in correspondence to the opening and expanding of our heart. Otherwise, truth can be overwhelming. Truth can actually stunt our growth if we do not have the heart capacity to be able to hold it, to be able to use our discernment to contextualize it, to understand it, to bring neutrality and spaciousness to what is being revealed. And as our desire for truth expands and expands, so does the requirement for us to feel safe in our ability to trust ourselves, to trust our heart, to trust our heart's discernment, to have the ability to hear the heart is actually the energetic epicenter of self-trust. When we can hear what our heart is telling us, we trust ourselves. That is the epicenter of self-trust. So let's also talk about expansion and densities. If you've seen my video, Ascension, what it really is, you'll know that I'm not a fan of talking about ascension or talking about the fifth dimension in the context of trying to leave our humanness behind, trying to escape, trying to move out of the third dimensional world. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm bringing up dimensionality. I'm talking about a frequency. I'm talking about energy that we attune to and that we ground here. So what I think is really interesting, though, is that the energy of the heart, it resonates with the frequency of the fifth dimension. So this is why right now, as we navigate the transition from 3D through 4D, and 4D, right? 4D is a mirror reality where we have reflected back to us the truth of everything that we are vibrating at, all polarities. So we move through the polarity, the mirror reality of the fourth dimension into resonating with, embodying fifth dimensional frequencies. So again, we are traversing this initiation of the heart, of activating and opening the heart and using that energy to help us in transmuting and alchemizing polarity, in feeling into and embracing unity. So let's dive a little deeper into the symbolism of the heart and present reality. So the heart physically, it also relates to our physical heart, to the lungs, and to the chest. These parts of our body are coming up very, very big here in 2020. Also, 2020 in numerology equals the number 4. The heart is the fourth chakra. This is literally the year of the heart, of heart initiations and heart awakenings, coupled with 0, right? Which 0 is that 0 point, which also connects in to the energy of the heart. And heart energy hydrates the aura. We've heard the saying, the well of the heart. Our aura is plasma. Plasma is the 4th phase of water. Again, that number 4 connects to the heart. Open flowing heart frequencies literally strengthen the aura. They hydrate the aura. It dissolves the need for protection. It creates a strong, flexible, resilient auric membrane. And when we don't have the need for protection, that also helps us dissolve polarity. You can see how if we're trying to protect ourselves against something else, it's a way of pushing against it. It's a way of reinforcing that polarity. Also, the energy of the open, activated, pure, innocent heart is Sophia Christos consciousness. And I'm not referring to something naive or wishy-washy or fluffy when I'm saying a pure, innocent, open, activated heart. It sounds like a fluffy, woo-woo-y thing to say. That's not what I'm talking about. Fluffy, sparkly love is fragile. Its surface, its roots don't run deep. It risks being a vehicle for spiritual bypassing. The true power of the engaged and open heart is the ability to dissolve and alchemize duality, the ability to hold all of you, and therefore all that is, you are the entire universe in one drop, in peace, in non-judgment. This is the ability to transmute separation. This is what Sophia Christos consciousness is. And it is fierce. It's the embodiment of the true warrior. So our mind's reference about what it means to be a warrior has been warped. We have let the word, the energy of the term warrior mean someone who is great at going to battle against something and coming out victorious, winning. And that is actually a twisted definition that reinforces, that locks us into this idea of polarity. The true warrior that embodies, that wields the light of heart consciousness, pierces through density, through heaviness, through the unconscious, and it cleanses and purifies and reconciles what is festering, what's separate, or what is perceived to be separate, or what perceives itself as separate from the heart. This initiation, this consciousness, is the second coming of the Sophia Christ. Your heart now is what has been prophesized. This is the part of the cosmic cycles of light and dark, where the turn of the wheel crosses a culmination point, a precipice. And if you want more information about this and you haven't caught that video, my Light and Dark series has a video on the cycles, the cosmic cycles of light and dark, that goes into detail about this. In the Gospel of Thomas, Yeshua said, when you make the two into one, and you make the inner as the outer, then shall you enter the kingdom. So he specifically here is talking about dissolving duality and entering the kingdom of the heart, the oneness of the heart. Now we're being asked to be brave, not because we need to buffer, push against, or resist anything, not for 1 second, but because we're being asked to see, to witness the full spectrum of energetic expression in ourselves and in others, and to hold all that is revealed in love. Again, this is the true warrior spirit. This is the true strength of the warrior, the heart warrior. And we are fully safe in this initiation because the heart is also a stabilizer. So as we open our heart and open our heart more, this can bring in new things that need to filter. And that can feel a little destabilizing, but it is all in service of creating stability for you, because the heart, the pure heart energy, is truly a stabilizer, the great balancer, the midpoint. It is the foundation from which we access our highest power, because the energy of the heart literally overrides all lower frequencies. Separation is truly the lowest frequency. And it also overrides all intentions from places of scarcity. So agendas that come from a perceived lack of power, wealth, resources, greed, self-interest, any of these are sounding familiar. The energy of the heart overrides these. It is the more powerful frequency. Think of the law of resonance in physics, where when two frequencies are introduced, the lower will always attune to meet the higher. When we can hold that heart frequency, it is the more powerful frequency. It's the solution to and the medicine for what's emerging from shadows, hidden agendas, collective wounding, ancestral wounding, individual, personal wounding. And if we begin to really, really look into the mysteries of many different epochs and eras and places here on Earth and in the cosmos, we see the importance in these mysteries, in these rituals, and in these traditions of the heart, of activating the heart, of coming back to the heart, and of true realization coming from this connection to the heart. I'd like to close out here by sharing one specific ritual with you from the mysteries of ancient Egypt, and that is the king-making ceremony. So the king-making ceremony was a rite or ritual for incoming pharaohs and also for certain levels of mystery school initiates that signified the king or the initiate's commitment to stand for truth, freedom, and devotion to spirit. So what are the energies of the heart? The center point for helping us to discern truth, for gifting us freedom beyond duality, for helping us to make that connection and facilitate that connection between matter and spirit. And very interestingly, this initiation took place in the temple Luxor. So there were many pyramids and temples in ancient Egypt, and 7 of them corresponded to specific chakra centers. The Luxor corresponded to the heart, and the open heart was seen as the activated vibration of the perfected human, meaning the integration of the physical and the spiritual, of density and lightness or light, was the embodiment of energetic balance. So they saw it as the ability to hold the variance of all whom they would caretake, all who they would love, all who they would lead from the heart, with inclusion, with grace, with compassion. They saw this energy, this activation, as the most important initiation. They literally saw it as regal. So our current initiation is our queen and king making ceremony. It's our journey of expanding our heart as wide as we must, to remember peace, the peace that passes all understanding. And in doing so, reclaim our true power. Peace is not passive. Peace requires consciousness, intentionality to calibrate to. So here's the invitation. Can our hearts be the balancer of duality within all truth? Can the heart awaken to truth, to totality, balance the duality of our perceived reality? This is how we remember. This is how we know our divinity. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.